So what's the score, Jim? I feel like everybody is looking at me and asking that question. Today is Sunday and normally I would duck and not write a rant until Tuesday, after Monday's Ben Fulford post. But I still feel everybody looking at me asking. I have been afraid to answer that question for the past 2 days as I do not wish to up the anticipation or give false indications. But still I feel everyone staring at me. For the past 2 days I have been seeing the word zip. This past week has given us a lot of confusion as to who is in charge right now. Is it the 1,000 families, the cabal, the military, the new treasury, the white hats, Russia and China? At this point let's shift our concern from the who to the collapse itself. Then let's focus on just one part of the collapse, that of the petrodollar. This way I don't have to say the cabal or the US or the banksters or whoever, as some of those lines have long been blurred. The petrodollar is the kingpin of the collapse. It has now come down to the whole world against the petrodollar. If it collapses it will be like the triangular act billiard balls being broken with that first K shot. What comes out of that chaos is anybody's guess, so let's just focus on that first shot. How close are we to it? That is the only issue here. The past week we got the suggestion from Michael Rivero that the military has always attacked any country that said it was leaving the petrodollar. But now the world realizes that the military is exhausted, spread too thin and cannot attack anymore. So Rivero suggests that 80 countries all announce on the same day their intent to abandon the petrodollar. This will leave the military exposed as to its being unable to prevent the dollar's collapse. This past week the Treasury announced the floodgate open to convert soon-to-be totally worthless Federal Reserve notes, dollars, into silver. Another source indicates that silver will be tied to the dollar such that as the dollar collapses silver will become more valued. This begins the rich riot long predicted where those in the know can protect their wealth by converting out of the dollar. This will be seen by the world as the opening act of the petrodollar collapse and in fact will cause it to occur. I am guessing that within a few weeks the big players will realize that the escape hatch is now open and that panic will begin. The mere public recognition of that act will end the Ponzi scheme of the petrodollar. Then this past week the European alliance has revealed itself to be in collapse with Germany and England going through the act of pulling out of that alliance. Remember that Germany has been financially supporting its fellow member states. This will leave the EU as a collection of insolvent countries. Upon closer look however, we see that this also spells the collapse of NATO. Add that to the suspicions that the US military is also in the process of jumping ship and the total isolation of the US in general, and it all adds up to no power behind the petrodollar. If we now look back over the past 12 months to the victories scored by the petrodollar and the rest of the world in its attempt to collapse the dollar, that might give us the score and the possible timetable to a victory by either party. So when you ask me what's the score, Jim, I have to be honest and say the world, 1 million. The petrodollar, zip. Now you predict the timing.